right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Coaches Performance Series. This is our second coach presentation. Last month was the art and science of pricing. We had a great turnout. We got a lot of great feedback, so we're back here for more. My name is Fritz Pollard. I am the Director of Coaching for the Coaching Nexus. It is my privilege and pleasure to introduce Mitch Schwartz, former Bold coach, TL, out of Vegas, great producing agent. And when we ended last month's session, we actually surveyed all of you. We're going to do that again. So hang on to the very end. We'll survey you again. We are going to bring you the topics that you need to make your business grow in the month that we are in. So last month, coming out of May, you said you wanted lead gen. You're going to get lead gen from someone who does it at a very, very high level. Please ask. Turn your cameras on. Come off of mute. Great speakers love engagement and interaction. When we can see you, we can read that audience a little bit better. So come off of, put your cameras on, come off of mute, and let us move you to better lead gen strategies. You're going to love the topic today. Mitch, take it away. Have some fun.
Thank you so much, Fritz and Shelby. First, before we do get started, I wanted to give major kudos to Shelby, whom I've known now for about 15 years, who does amazing work. And she helped me get my presentation, which was boring. She made it a little bit less boring. And then I want to give kudos to Fritz, who actually not only is my mentor now, but he was a personal one-on-one coach of mine. And I will tell you, he was a tough coach and an amazing coach. Actually taught me so very much. So thank you both very much for that.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you guys all for being here. So question I have for you. What do you say we kind of turn the idea of the lead gen that we do sort of on our head, right? Let's think a little bit different, because when we think lead gen, what is it we think of? I was taught a long time ago, it's 20 contacts a day. Pick up the phone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone, and go knock on doors like crazy. Who besides me? Just raise your hand if that's what you remember hearing. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Cold call, expireds, FISBOs, all that fun stuff, right? I get that. But we're going to turn it on our head a little bit, because I believe that things could be a little bit different. Now, I don't think agents have a problem with finding the leads. I think more importantly, they don't have a system for finding the leads. Do you get that part? See, this is about a system, and I'm going to go through that. I'm going to give you some proven methods that are going to help you strategize for a niche. I'm going to give you a simple, consistent follow-up system. And then I'm going to help you understand some of the daily habits that you can do that will actually make it feel almost effortless. Things that we're already doing, people are already talking to, but the difference is we're building a relationship with them. Real simple, just so you guys know who the heck I am. Been doing this for a long time, like since the earth cooled, I think. It says 3,258 really as of yesterday. It's 3,259. Thank you very much. I used to be a MAPS coach and a Bold coach, and now I am a coach with the Coaching Nexus, which I am so grateful for that opportunity. I'm actually an NAR, an LVR instructor, and a KWU instructor. I write my own classes. But here's the thing. I believe, and I hasten to use the word expert, but I will tell you this, that I've learned that by being focused, and that's what I'm going to share with you, that I sort of have been known, at least within the worlds that I work in, that I'm sort of an expert, right? And that's what you want to be. And I believe in systems. One of the things that Fritz taught me a long time ago, and Diana, and people like Jay Papazan and Gary Keller, they taught me that life is better when you have systems. As a matter of fact, my buddy Tony DeCello, who's the best coach I've ever met in my entire life, he and I were fishing, and he said to me once, Mitch, with discipline comes freedom. With discipline comes freedom. And what that meant to me is to have enough of a discipline to, one, follow a schedule, and two, follow the system within my schedule. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me a thumbs up if you're kind of tracking with me on this. Fantastic. Now, Fritz, will you keep an eyeball on the chat box just in case I miss something and I don't see somebody, because I'm looking at the screen and just rolling.
You bet.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So what I'd like you to do right now, this is something we're all going to do right now. I want you to just take a blank piece of paper you got on your desk. I don't care where it is. Just pen and a paper. And I want you to write down the answers of the following question. First off, I want you to write down the names of the people or the street addresses, if it's easier for you to remember, of the last 3 to 5 that you truly enjoyed the process. Who did you really enjoy working with? Just write down those names right now. I'm going to give you like 30 seconds. We all know who they are. Write down the names. I'm going to guess everybody's speed writing just like I do. So the next one you're going to do is you're going to write down next to them, if you can think about it, what did they actually have in common, those people? Was it their age, maybe an occupation, the property type that you sold? Was it a lifestyle, certain interests like camping or fishing or certain hobbies? What did those people have in common? This is a real important attribute to those transactions that's going to get us where we're going next. Just think about, and I'm going to give you just a slide more time on that because it takes a little bit more to think about it. What did they have in common? You should have gotten most of them down. Now think, who or what types of people do you naturally connect with? So if I can give you a quick example, I personally love to camp and fish a lot. Fritz knows this about me because he's been both camping and fishing with me. And why I'm sharing this with you is because when I get in a room with people who start talking about camping and fishing, I light up. It makes me so happy, and I don't have to feel like I'm being anybody other than who I really am. So when you think about what types of people, what groups do you naturally connect with? Now, the idea here is you're looking at commonality. Where is it that you connect with the most? Who is it that you connect with the most? What are the places where you think you may be able to find connections, right? So I want you to drop in the chat or just shout it out really quickly. What was your answer to number 3? And why do you feel that those groups are connected with you? So just fire some stuff at me. What do you think with regards to the number 3, why you connect with those people? Shout it out or put it in the chat.
Waterfront sellers.
So tell me why that was a good one for you, George.
I've lived on the water for 40 years and I just enjoy anything on the water.
Right. Okay. And I know you have a boat, right? Do you still?
Yep.
Okay, great. So when you're thinking in terms of, is it being just living in a waterfront home, or you connect for people who actually enjoy the boating lifestyle? Is it a boating lifestyle that's fishing related? Or is it a boating lifestyle that's more yachting around? Or is it more water sports?
It's actually more of a view type of connection where I just love the view of the water from the house. It's just so peaceful.
So when you think about that and you look at your past business activities, are any of those people of the same mindset as you?
Quite a few.
Right. And you probably, if I'm guessing right, probably really enjoyed having conversation with those folks because you just felt like you were you, right? You didn't have to be outside of that.
100% natural.
Fantastic. So who else has a number 3 answer that they'd like to share with everybody or has put it in the chat? Don't make me just pick somebody because I'm gonna. This finger is good at pointing and I will totally make that happen. So who else has got it? Come on now.
Mine is techies.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, techies and people that like to kayak and be on the water.
Okay, so that was Takesha?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of go through like we did with George. You said kayaking and being on the water.
Yes.
Okay, so when you look at that, what is it specifically about kayaking and being on the water? And are they mutually exclusive in each other? Or do you believe that your relationship to those activities have to be tied together? Like, meaning it's just being on the water for you and you just enjoy it? Or is it really you just are all about the kayak?
Well, it's really the water and really enjoying it. I feel like it brings peace. As crazy as it sounds, I'm literally sitting here right now looking at water. but it brings peace. It
That's
brings
awesome.
peace. It makes me feel like you're trying to find your balance, and that
Uh-huh.
equates to being calm and you not getting razzle dazzled by everything so quickly.
Great. Now, when we look back at our clients, thank you for sharing, Keisha. We look
My
back on our
pleasure.
clients. What is it about those clients that maybe is associated with the water for you?
They would be peaceful. They would be organized, willing to listen.
Uh-huh. Do you feel like they would have a similar behavioral style or an outlook on life or interest list around that is similar to yours?
Definitely.
So can we all get an agreement that, thank you very much for both of you guys sharing, when we are around the people who are most like us in many respects, either the hobbies or who we are, that it makes life easier and smoother, right? Because we don't have the rough edges anymore because the people we're hanging around are the same people as us. Now, that's different than when you're hiring somebody, and I know we're going to have a coaching call around how to find the right people. We're talking about who you do business with. And can we all agree also that there's some people you met in your life that maybe are not associated with the water or not associated with that you all of a sudden felt really got the EBGBs about being around them? Yes or yes? I know it's me. I run into somebody that's contradictory to who I am as a human. I can't work with them. It's just not working for me. So I've learned that to develop that, right? So here's the mindset that I'm looking for, as I want you to think about the people in your world who you're already dealing with and the networks that are around those people. Now, think about this for just a second. We all know that we should be speaking to lots of people, right? But we also know that there are people who may have networks of people that we deal with. So let's just talk about the water thing for just a second. I'm going to go to you, George, on this one. Are there clubs of people who like to do the things that you like to do?
Well, I've been an elk member for 18 years, and probably over the course of about 18 years, I've probably had about 24 folks reach out to me to help me with selling and buying homes because they know
Well,
I'm.
let's talk about the water thing, George, and I apologize for interrupting. So are there people who are boaters who are in clubs, people who enjoy the water who are in clubs, people who maybe work on boats, people who sell boats, people who store boats, people who transfer boats? Are there groups of people like that in your area?
Yeah, the Pocton Yacht Club. I was a member of that yacht club for 18 years when I had my 31-foot boat. So you got to hang around 100 people who all had homes near or close to the water.
Right. So are there also people who maybe are connected to those people who maybe not even really those people purposefully? Let's just go back like to the boat sellers, people who sell boats, like dealers and stuff. Do you believe
They're all
this is
over the
a
place.
right? Exactly. Right. So could they be a connection that if you're really heavily connected to a person who sells boats, could they have a reach beyond just themselves?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So that's what I'm getting at here is thinking about the networks around the people that you work with. Now, let's think about if you've got those groups of people, what does it look like you're doing to build a relationship? Now, let's share that for just a second. I believe that you can generate a lead today. Anybody can go out right now and generate a lead. That would be the lead that you generate here. It may take you an hour. It could take you 5 minutes. You go right down and get gas. I've advocated a lot of times if you're standing there pumping gas, there's plenty of people who are trapped. You should be out there having conversation with them. Now, you could totally do that. But do you really want to work with everybody? Is if I'm at the gas station, am I going to run into people who I want to look for? So I generate the lead. Down the road is going to give me the business. This is the lead. This is the transaction. Now, the issue here is the lead doesn't take very long to generate. And we know that once they commit to doing a transaction, that's about a 90-day window from the time they say, yes, let's do something to where you get a paycheck, right? So really what you're looking at is you've got the lead you generate, and then when they do the transaction. Well, the gap in between here is when you build that relationship. That is when they are deciding to work with you. And would it be easier to build those relationships and that influence with people who are thinking like you, acting like you, and doing the same things as like you? 100%, right? And could you now say those people who I want to work with, who are working with those people already? Who's already in that? So if you guys are comfortable with me giving you like a personal example, I spend a great deal of time, my business is all people over 55, meaning I just focus on seniors, estates, and probates. That's all I do. And it doesn't mean that I'm mean to people who are not that. I just find a person to refer them to because that's not what I choose to focus on. I don't care what they look like, they just got to be old. And 55 is actually younger than me, so I'm good with that. But the idea here is now I am not just building relationships with the people in that community, because it's more expensive for me to build a relationship one-to-one than it would be for me to build a relationship of one who's got 100. So what I spend time doing is meeting with people. Like yesterday, I had a meeting with a person who runs a company called Cognitive Care, and they do testing and work for specific people who may or may not have diagnoses of dementia or Alzheimer's or any of the dementia products items. I met with a person yesterday who is in a memory care facility, and she is helping people make the decision to move there. Is it possible that they are the conduit to the clients I'm looking for? Absolutely, right? Then I say, okay, what does the database look like? I'm collecting the names. Don't get me wrong, I still do the one-to-one thing. I got lots of people in my database who are 55 plus. And of course, I use the tag in my database so I know who they are. Yes, I'm also building relationships outside of that. So people who have contacts or they have database of people. But then I'm looking at what does that database look like? It says on my screen, it says consistency builds trust. Well, what does that consistency look like? Now, many of you might say, well, it just means I'm going to get an email out to them regularly. I'm going to get a phone call to them. That's 100% true. And it's also the consistency of your messaging, right? See, if I'm going around saying, when somebody says, well, tell me about your real estate business, and I say, well, I sell houses. Well, to whom? Anyone that wants to buy a house. Yuck. I can't give that person what they're looking for, but because consistency is about the messaging, my response is I provide financial care and security for seniors going through a housing transition. And because of that, I believe that seniors deserve more than a sign in their yard to sell their house. Now, did I make it real clear who I work with? Yes or yes, right?
Okay.
Yeah, any questions, anything so far as we're moving forward? Anybody pop up, Fritz, with a comment or anything I need to know about?
No, I just think that there's some other good examples of categories of people. Is it Josine? And please come off of mute. Young professionals. Yep. And she noted that the last handful of transactions, they had dogs, and she has dogs just like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's totally cool. Go for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that was what we had in common. They were all in their 30s, and most of them had dogs, which I also had a dog. So we always immediately connect over dogs. So always
Now think about that for just a second. Could you working with people who have dogs bring you joy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there enough people who have dogs that you could be busy like crazy if only you focused on people who did dogs?
I mean, actually everyone I've interacted with so far had a dog or two. So probably.
Yeah, right. Now, I believe, and this is going to sound crazy, I think you could go even further. What breed of dog do you have?
I have a Shih Tzu.
Okay. Are there people out there who have Shih Tzus and just love with Shih Tzus?
I haven't met anyone that I've interacted with a Shih Tzu so far, but they do.
I believe you could figure that out though.
Yeah.
Chihuahuas are better.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're not even go down that. I'm not going to have that. But my point is you could ask some questions and figure out maybe there's enough of a market who just do the Shih Tzu. Or you can just say, I'm just going to do the dog thing. Whatever the case may be, is your idea is you're narrowing these people down because you got a lot of joy, you brought them a lot of joy, and you have something in common. So, and it could be that, it could be military. My buddy Jeff, he is an honorary member. Thank you very much, Josine, by the way. He's an honorary member of the Henderson Police Department Officers Association. He is the only non-cop that is a part of that organization. Why? Because his focus, all he does is provide services and caring to people who are our local heroes. That's all he does. And he focuses on that. And guess what? He's in tight with everybody. He's friends with the gal running for mayor. He's friends with the police chief. He goes in and makes presentations where nobody else does. Why? Because he is all about that. So there are probably 300 places you could come up with a niche, right? So let's move on to the next part. So let's talk about the lead generation pillars. Think in terms of the types of touches that you would do with a niche. So I shared with you my thing about the seniors. So this last Saturday, we did an event that was called Bingo, Wine, and Charcuterie. Now, think about my age client at 55. How many of people associate bingo with older people? Of course. I know here in town, I go to the bingo parlor. If I get somebody from out of town and wants to go play bingo, that place is full of people with white hair just like me. Sometimes it's so white it's blue, and that's okay. So I came up with an event, something that would be of value to them as a touch. Filled the room, had a lot of people playing bingo, having a good time. What are the types of touches? Now, I've had people say, well, gosh, Mitch, your niche doesn't go online. Are you kidding me? My niche is all about Facebook and all about Instagram. And they also go to YouTube. So I know where they're going. I know they're not doing TikTok, but I do know that they're doing the other. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to touch them. So think about how you're going to touch them. And this is lead gen, but this is all the lead follow-up. And we'll talk about just in a second. Now, how are you communicating with them? Now, I love this question. Who do you know is thinking about moving this summer? Who do I know in the niche that I serve? If you really are looking at your niche, what questions could you be asking them? By the way, I'm going to share this with you, and this is just Mitchism here. I personally believe if you always ask for business, you will stop getting people picking up your call. You've got to be a person who's in relationship with them. If all you do is say, gimme, 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 eventually they'll just say, oh, George is calling again. He's just probably going to ask me if I want to sell a house. And I told him the last 4 times I'm not ready to move. I'll just let it go to voicemail. Now, would you rather have that, or would you rather have a person have a conversation with you? Do your friends call you and ask you for business all the time? No, your friends call and talk to you about you. So think about questions you could ask to the niche. So if we said Joycine again, and we were talking about the dogs, could you be talking about rescue events? Could you be talking about their pet behavior, trainings, those kinds of things that would bring you closer to them because you have commonality? And then you have to be consistent about some of these things. I love birthdays, anniversaries, life milestones. Those are important aspects of a life. And by the way, when you have a friend who has a birthday, do you just post it online and go onto Facebook and say, oh, happy birthday? No. When you're their friends, what do you typically do? Come on, share with me. What do you do typically when your friend has a birthday?
I call them, I send them tips, treats, good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not saying spend the money on the tips, treats on everybody, but I am saying that a person who gets a card and then a phone call, rather than just a random text or a social post that you can be out there seen by everybody that you're wishing them happy birthday, you could do that, but the phone call is what makes the difference, right? What are you doing for your birthday? Happy anniversary. What is it, like 3 years now, or whatever the case may be? And of course, life milestones. Those are important. So that's where you can generate some of this stuff. Now let's talk about the second pillar of it. Laser focus that down into more of a, who are the people you're working with? You know, if I was working with, let's change that. If I was not a person who focused on seniors, estates, and probates, I would likely be focused on people who own houses, who have enough room to park an RV or a boat. Now, why is that important? because the niche gives me permission to be the expert and gets me known as the expert. And so if I focus on something that I love to do, it's natural for me. And because I'm separating myself out there, I am truly going to be seen as the expert. So right now, I've been called a unicorn in the senior business because everybody, you guys get it in your Facebook feeds. Everybody's following the senior tsunami. Get on the train. Everybody gonna sell houses, probates, estates, seniors. Get in that. 65 million people are turning 65 every day. You know what? That's all true. But the issue is, how am I going to be separating myself from that group? And the way I do that is to become all-encompassing in that. So when I say I've been called a unicorn, other people go to these communities and say, give me business. The difference is I go to those communities and I say, how can I help you get business? How can I help you fill your space? If I was working with people who were in the boating world, how can I help you find a boat that you're looking for? Or who do you need to know to fix your boat? Or when do you go boating? Where do you store your boat? Ask those questions and become a master of those things. So when you're at an event and somebody says, gosh, I need a new slip for my boat. Oh, I happen to know this great one for you. Why don't I connect you with Steve? He can hook you up. According to the quote that I put in here, 82% of consumers are more likely to trust a business that specializes in their specific needs. Now think about that for just a second. When you have all these people out trying to be everything to everybody, and you've decided to be the laser focused things to this group, who is going to be the chosen one when they find out that you're the expert in what they really want versus somebody who's just a generalist, right? And that's what I found to be true for me. Now, how do you build trust? Trust is important. Remember, you generated the lead. Now you're looking to get this business, and this gap in between, that's their decision-making time. That's when they're saying, okay, you generated him his lead. I said it's okay to stay in touch. All this time, they're going to decide. So what do you do? How do you do it? Think about the content that they would want. What is a person who says they like to be on the water looking for? How many of you guys use ChatGTP or something like it? How many of you, if you keep your hands up, have actually spent the time to educate your GTP? Like educate it in such a way, say like interview me and find out what you need to know about me so you can help me with my business. I see Takesha shaking her head. Yes, that's important. So then you can go into your AI and say, okay, help me by discovering things that will bring value to my target audience, right? Give them content that will specifically speak to them. What's in it for them by being in a relationship with you? Yes, sprinkle it with the occasional, here's why I'm doing this. I do sell real estate, but not every time do you need to say that. Simply by having your logo, your name, and your phone number and real estate agent next to it is likely going to remind them. And then when you speak to them on the phone, so what is the value they bring? Then engage the local community for your group. Now remember, we're going to a place where I'm saying you're not going to be everything to everybody. You're going to build relationships with people who have the relationships that you want. So I'm busy spending time on relationships of each person, anticipating they have probably over the course of the next year will come in contact with between 10 and 50 people who need my services. Right? So I'm in relationship with them because I probably can't get to those 50 per because I don't know who they are, but these people will. So I engage, go to different places. Where will they be? Find a way. If you need to, start your own community. I'm in the process right now building a Business Network International, BNI chapter, whose sole purpose is to serve seniors. That's what I'm looking for. So I want to be around that. So where are they at? Now, think in terms of the lead funnels. Everybody you come in contact with is going to come into the top of the funnel. Some people might already be towards the end, but your idea is to get them into the funnel and then you nurture them. That's the distance, right? You're going from here to here. That's the funnel part. At the beginning, they're right here. At the end, they're going to come here. That's the bottom of the funnel. So what is it you're doing to create other funnels out there to put people in the database that you can nurture? Now, I don't want you to just put anybody and everybody in there. And before we get any further, because I'm talking about a niche, how many of you in your head were thinking, well, gosh, if I only focus on this one thing, I'm going to miss out on all this other business? Is anybody thinking that? No one?
Maybe.
Well, I get people ask me all the time, well, you focus on seniors. Thanks, Fritz. You focus on seniors. Aren't you worried about all the business that you're not going to get? And you know what's really funny? I have none of that. First off, I get to pick, meaning I get to choose who I'm going to work with. So I'll work with somebody's grandma, right? And they'll call me up and they say, oh my gosh, grandma just loved working with you. You did such a great job. We really appreciate it. She really is happy in her home. And I'll know this because I stay in touch with my clients. She's really happy in the assisted living and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, great, thank you for the kind words. And then they'll say, well, we know we're not seniors, but can you help us? Now I get to choose at that moment, right? I can say, yes, I only work with seniors, I'll still help you. Is that incongruent with my mission? Sure it is. So I'm going to think to myself, well, were they a jerk to their grandma? Did they try and be obstinate? Were they in the way of the process? Did they embrace her and help her? What did they do that brought value to that relationship that they have with their grandma? And if they were a complete and utter jerk and they were trying to take advantage of grandma, I might say something like, well, thank you so much for the call. I truly appreciate it. You're right. I really only work with seniors, but I can give you a name and a phone number of somebody that can help you. And I have a relationship with a couple agents, and I'll say, listen, here's a referral. I expect to get paid a referral fee. So then I can do that, or I can say, you know what, thanks a lot. You're right. I mostly do with seniors, but so what? Let's at least have that conversation. Now, let me tell you what, handling those a little different, right? But here's the thing is I will sit down with them and I will generally refer them to somebody else even still. It's just because of who they were to their grandma, I'm going to give them a little bit more attention. But I get so much people coming to me that want me to do business with them, and I get to pick who I want to work with. Then I'm gonna use a CRM. Now I know some of you've heard the phrase, "What's the best CRM?" Well, it's the one you're going to use. I think that's so true. But you really have to use it. That means you should put it on your schedule every day to get into your CRM and see the activities that you've set reminders for that you need to keep doing. That way, nothing falls through the cracks. Nothing. Put it on your calendar if you have to. Just every single day you're up, whenever you start your day, that's where you go, right to your CRM. Because then you're going to get the value. And then what will also happen is you're going to start spotting gaps within your CRM and your relationship building, and then you will be able to fill those gaps. If you're not using the system, if you're not following it every day, you will not be able to see the gaps. And if you're not seeing the gaps, you're going to miss the opportunities. All right? So here's the plan. You need to first pick two. Now, I'm a believer, I pick one, but you can pick two. I think a good agent on their own should have one primary and maybe a secondary. If you're a team that has multiple agents, you could each have your own niche. The only thing is your team going to be known for the niche, or is it the agent going to be known for the niche? Focus your energy. When you really want to master something, that means really getting aggressive with it, right? And then build the core systems that's going to help you generate the leads, follow up on the leads, and make sure that you can do them, that they're simple and sustainable. And I'm going to share with you in just a second my system that I think works, right? And then you have to decide for yourself and make it real clear that lead generation is not a once in a while thing. It's not a haphazard thing. It's not like, oh, I got a listing today, I'll go knock on doors. No. Lead generation and lead follow-up is a habit that happens every single day. I open up my CRM. First thing as I do is I look at the opportunities that are there and where they're at, and now I got to follow up on certain people. Then I go to my tasks. That's the habit. That's what's on the schedule. Do that consistently. It builds a habit. In the One Thing book, it was discussed that the average time to build a habit is about 66 days. And I will tell you, lead generation and follow-up is going to take you longer than 66 days. That means you're going to have to plan, put it on your schedule until it becomes second nature. You'll know that it's a habit that when for some reason you miss getting started on time or miss it at all because you're on a vacation, you feel weird about the fact you're not getting it done. That's when you know it's a habit. And then last, you're going to follow up like it says like a pro. I think we're all pros. It's just at what level, right? A person who's in a single A baseball club is a pro. But is he a different pro than the person who plays in Major League Baseball? I think we should aspire to be the pro who plays in Major League. I think we should all aspire to be Shohei Ohtani, being the best you can everywhere, right? Use scripts, use reminders, and track how you do it. So let's move on to the next part, because you're going to build a funnel that we're going to follow up on that. Where do they come from? So like one of my funnels is open houses. I'm very purposeful about my open houses because they are designed to get me seller leads. Then I'm going to, once I connect with them, how am I going to engage them? So fire away real quick, just out loud, or throw it in the chat. What is it you do to build engagement with your people? What kinds of things do you guys do? And don't tell me emails. What else you got?
I offer workshops.
Workshops, that's great. Who else?
Mm-mm.
What was that? I'm sorry, I thought you said something, Vicky. Who else got one? We seen anything in the chat, Fritz?
Not yet.
Come on, guys. This is an audience participation program. I know I'm doing a lot of flapping my gums here, but we should be working together. What do you do to engage your prospects, your people in your database? How are you connecting with them?
Do a social event each quarter that I invite the real estate fam, as I call them, out to.
Oh, fantastic. Like, that's outstanding. Would you mind in the chat sharing a couple of the last couple of events or things that you did? And to Keisha, put in their chat, if you would, just maybe a couple of your workshops you've done. So the engagement is important. It's one thing to generate the lead. And if you think you're going to get this on that far end, you have to figure out a way to fill this gap with value and engagement for your clients. How are you building the trust? What are you doing? And learning from each one. Next, you're going to have a follow-up system. I'm telling you right now, if all you relied on is email, you're going to get 1 out of every 100 people who wants to do something, because you can't build a relationship through email. You just can't. You've got to engage, and you've got to think of how you're going to do it. Yes, should there be email? You can deliver great value with email, but it cannot be the only thing that you do. Your follow-up system's got to include phone calls, text messaging, maybe something printed in their hand, certainly some events. How do you follow up? I'm going to give you the system. You ready? I call it the 5, 10, 15. It's simple. Here's why it's simple. You're going to do 5 things first in the morning. First thing in the morning is you get up and you're going to hit your database or your CRM, and you're going to send out 5 text messages to 5 new people every single day. Now, Shelby, would you put the DT D2 plus 2 in the chat if you haven't already? What that is a system that says, okay, and some of you might not understand it. The DT D2 is do the database too. So years ago, my friend Tony DeCello, he and somebody else actually took the alphabet and figured out what percentage of people have last names that begin with the letters. And then they paired the letters up. So as an example, might be P and L, like P and L. And those together will have approximately the same as the ones that have B and E as the starting letter for their first names. It's just a real easy way to designate who you're going to call this week. So I might have it on my schedule that I'm actually speaking or in contact on the phone or voice to voice with everybody that's got a B, the beginning of their last name, and an E, the beginning of their last name, right? And those will be it. Well, I added the +2 on the back because you're going to have the first +2 is for texting. What is the what does the name begin with? Who you're going to text this week? So you have 2 that'll be for calls, or voice to voice, and you'll have one letter that's for texting, and then you'll have one letter that's for social media engagement, right? So it's 5 texts a day. It's a real quick question. I don't like the question of, unless the market kind of went wonky, I don't like the question about, well, have you seen the market? Have you seen interest rates? That's all well and good, but then that comes back to the gimme, gimme, gimme again. I think if you were to go to their social media or look at the last conversation you had with them, send them out a text that has the question. Now, don't forget to identify yourself. Hey, Fritz, how's things going? I saw you went to a restaurant last night I've been wanting to try. What'd you think? Mitch Schwartz, Keller Williams. Put it right in there. So you're going to send 5 texts a day with a question. They could be the same question to everybody, or you can be more unique. The idea is to name their name, have a very specific question. Between when you send it between 8 and 8:30, by the end of the day, you'll likely get 5 responses and carry on 5 conversations. Now, we've all heard have 20 conversations a day. This is 5 immediately. You just knock them right out. Then the next step would be 10 conversations a day. These would be on the phone, knocking on doors, whatever you got to do. You're going to track 10 conversations, face-to-face or voice-to-voice. And again, for me, this is really the relationship builder. Reason for that, again, is I'm going to see something that they've said or done or been somewhere. Maybe I ran into a party last week, or maybe they came to my event, or maybe I'm inviting them to the event. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to have a voice-to-voice or face-to-face conversation. Some days I go out and I deliver things to my core advocates. Pop by and bring a cup or something silly. That's conversations. And always finish the conversation, the voice-to-voice or face-to-face, especially if you know them. How's work going? Why would I want to ask that question? Anybody know?
Because they're going to reciprocate the same question.
You are so smart. That is 100% true, Takesha. 100% true. They're going to ask you how work's going. Now you are not bringing it up. They are. And then the last thing, the 15 social interactions a day. These are not going there like. No. That's not how you interact. I mean, when you walk up to somebody in a party, you just push their shoulder and say like. Then go to the next one, push their shoulder and say like. I'm going to push somebody in their heart and say love on this one. No, you don't do any of those things. What you do is you talk to people. They're called social media for a reason. You're supposed to be social on social media. By the way, while we're talking about social media, when I was a kid being raised, I was told to avoid these kinds of conversations in public and or parties or whatever. Sex, politics, and religion. I would say avoid all of those at all times. Nobody in your database should have any idea about any of those things with you because they are absolutely irrelevant to working on a real estate transaction. So you're going to go on, and again, you're going to use it's DT D2 plus 2. The second 2 is the social media. So you'll go online, and by the way, you can sort all these people in your social media and put them into groups. You just go into that group, and then you can see somebody who posted something. Last name begins with E. You go online, you find something that they posted recently, and you respond to it with a question. Maybe they got a puppy. So maybe Joycina is in there and she sees that some of her clients just got a new puppy. She could say something like, oh my gosh, what a cute puppy. What breed is it? Or what a cute puppy. What'd you name it? Did you get it from a rescue? Did you get it from a breeder? The whole idea is now you're engaging in a conversation. You're going to have 2 or 3 back and forth. And you may find somebody wants to talk offline. That's great too. But the idea is you're having 5 text messages, 5. You're doing 10 conversations. That's voice to voice or face to face. And then you're going to have 15 social media interactions. Now, we started this with me saying everybody's been told that they should have 20 conversations in a day. Now, I don't know about you. Whenever I've just picked up the phone and called, it takes 4 or 5 hours to have 20 conversations. I've discovered this 5, 10, 15. I can generally get it done in about 90 minutes to 2 hours tops. Which I don't know about you. I'm all about saving time. Because if I am not sitting in front of a client, I need to go find a client for sure. And this will now give me 30 conversations a day in a very simple, time managed way to do it. And again, you just get up every day. 5 texts, 10 conversations, 15 social medias. It's that simple. You'd be surprised after 90 days of doing this, 5 days a week, doing it for 90 days, you will have so much business you won't know what to do with yourself. Why? Because all of these things are going to start being related to your niche. So now you got your niche. You know who you like to work with. You know the questions you could be posing because they think like you do, act like you, want to spend time like you. Now you're moving to a relationship with these folks who then will see you as not just a real estate agent who's friendly. They will see you as a friend who sells real estate.
Hey,
Now,
Mitch.
for whatever, yeah, go for
Mitch,
it.
real quick, this is Fritz. So ladies and gentlemen, just a quick takeaway that I'm getting from all this. It opened up with the niche. Now he's giving you the structured format to stay in touch with your niche. Imagine the urgency and the motivation getting up every day that 30 conversations, 30 interactions, 30 connections are with people that move you, that are engaged in things that you like to do. It changes the game and the rules of engagement and interaction because these are your people. And I mean, this is just hitting me, you know, and I've, you know, been in this thing for almost 40 years. Had I spent more time with people that had the same passions that I did, I may still be in the sale end of the game because it wouldn't have felt like work.
It doesn't. Fritz,
So
I get up
just
every
get
day
that.
and I am fired up because of who I get to talk to, because I don't have to be, frankly, I'm not a guy who likes working with buyers. So let's just throw that out there, right? But if I had to, and I was trying to be a generalist, I'd get stuck working with buyers and it would make, it's out of my comfort zone. It's out of who I really am. Yeah, I like buying. I buy for me, but I don't like to work with people buying. I don't like people who are not outdoorsy. I get the creeps from that. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's just not who I am. But if I meet with the people who are my people, I'm just naturally me. I don't have to put on any airs, as the case may be. I can just be myself.
Hey, I have a question. Can I ask? I'm
Fire
just a
away.
little confused. So you said the 5, 10, 15. Can you go back to the previous slide, please?
Sure. There we go.
So you said 5 texts a day. So that could be with just, hey, just checking in. How are you doing? Been a while. Haven't spoken. Something like that.
Oh, well, here's what I would do, Priya, is I would be a little bit more specific. So if I was sending it to you, first thing I do is I go to your social media account because that's the source of everybody's info, right? They spill their guts to the world. I'd go to their social media account and say, I saw you went to a restaurant last week that's in our area. I might text you and say, hey, Priya, I saw that you went to Roberto's for some Mexican food and margaritas. I was thinking about it myself. What did you think of the restaurant? Should I waste my time or not? Now, is that a lot more personal, more like a friend would ask versus just some rando?
Yeah. A friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, you want to be as personal as you can. And for the first several, you're going to want to include who you were on there in case for some reason they didn't have you saved in their phone.
What about the 10 conversations? That's going to be with who? Like just.
So I like to think about it a couple of ways. You can do it to generate leads, like you got a transaction you just closed in a neighborhood. Go knocking on some doors. You could probably knock on about 30 doors and speak to 10 people, depending upon what time of the day you go do it. Maybe 40 doors, but have conversations. Hey, I just sold your house right down the street from your neighbor. We had 6 offers. That means one person bought the house and these 5 didn't buy the house. Who do you know that might be right here, right now, who's thinking about making a move in the next 12 months? I might be able to help them get the highest price without having their house on MLS. I would do that. So now I've got that conversation going. Could be that kind of thing. I could stand in front of Walmart about a great rental opportunity and say, who do you know? And that I could 10 conversations. I could do, I could just call my database. How have you been? I saw your kid graduate from high school last week. Where's she going to college? Would you mind if I sent a congratulatory card with a $10 Starbucks gift card because she's going to need it? Those are things that friends do. Does that provide clarity for you, Priya?
Yes. And what about the 15 social interactions? Are you talking about posting, like, or just commenting on other people's profile also?
Give me 2 seconds because my speaker just switched from my. There we go. Okay. So that is, believe it or not, the social interactions are on the post that they do. Should you
Okay.
have your own system of posting? Absolutely. Should it be relevant to your niche? So my Facebook business page is all that. My YouTube channel is all that. But when you're interacting with somebody, you meet them where they're at and you scan their social media and you respond to theirs. Not like, or love, or laugh. It's literally you comment, followed with a question, and then when they respond, you comment, follow with a question, and your goal is to have 3 of those. And that can be done throughout the day. Once you start the first one, it'll happen throughout the day as people take breaks at work, they get home from whatever. You're going to be doing these conversations, the 15 social media, you'll be doing that throughout the day. But see, the beauty is you can do that when you're at lunch. You do it the 15, and then you're having lunch break, and you're playing on your phone. Everybody's looking, oh, spend all that time on social media. No, I have a purpose. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. Thank you. That gives clarity. Yeah.
Total pleasure. So let's talk about the recap real quick. Lead generating is a system. What is your system? My system, I believe, should be a niche. Be really focused on at least one. It's not a mystery. It's not haphazard. It's not sort of kind of. If you build a business based on a niche and those relationships, it becomes a daily, every single day habit. You need to work on the 3 pillars. At minimum, you've got to have the lead gen and follow-up. You've got to have the engagement with the follow-up, and you've got to have a system that you use to make sure you stay in touch. I found the 5, 10, 15 is something that can be done, not even thinking about it. Not even think about it. Next, you want to have a daily plan. Now, the daily plan for me would say you get up and you do your morning routine, whatever it happens to be. Some people it's devotional, some people it's going to the gym, some people it's both. Sometimes people just do stretching at home. It's a breakfast, it's a cup of coffee. Whatever your consistent thing is, do that every single day. And include that your first tack onto your database, opening up your CRM and see who needs to be spoken with next, right? And then use the 5, 10, 15. The 5, 10, 15 will make your life so much easier because it's just something you can do without thinking about it. After a period of time, it becomes very habit forming because it includes the part of life that a lot of people really enjoy, which is social medias. Use the social media. Leverage that. If you're already going to be on there, why be on there haphazardly? Be on there on purpose, right? That's why people tend to like the 5, 10, 15 because it does something that they actually enjoy. And it helps them stay in touch. And by the way, the more you interact with those folks, the more they're going to show up at the top of your list for your feeds, right? And then consistently, that is in what I would call the compounder. It says on here, the multiplier. It's like compound interest, right? You put it in there and you work on it, you get a little bit of interest, and then you work on it a little bit more, and it just keeps building on building on itself over and over and over again because the relationship is getting stronger. What's really funny is you'll find people calling you saying, oh my gosh, I was told to give you a call, Akeisha, because you're the person who really thinks like I do. I want a house on the lake at so-and-so and such. And I was told you're the person who really loves the water and I need to talk to you about all that needs to be done with that. And they'll come out of the blue. But that's because that's who you are, right? So without taking all the time, which I did, what is it that we can do to answer some additional questions for you? Who has more questions? Who has got a limiting belief or anything that I can help with? Don't tell me you've got this mastered already. And I'm going to tell you, this is usually a class I teach for 3 hours. And if somebody's looking for deeper conversation with this, I'm going to give you that opportunity in a second. But this is big stuff here. And I'm challenging the way you think about it. So,
Mitch, why don't you put your contact info in the chat just from the standpoint of anything related to this particular presentation. We're also going to give you an opportunity for those not in the Coaching Nexus coaching program to do a discovery call where you could dig deeper as it relates to your personal business. Shelby, maybe you could advance the slides. We've got the survey that we also want to have you do real quick. But I think if you want to reach back out to Mitch, we'll put that quickly in the chat. Mitch has been doing this a long time. He's got a passion for it, and clearly you may need something from him directly. So Shelby, can you move on to the, or I'm sorry, Mitch, guess you're
Yep.
advancing the slides here.
Yep.
Okay. You know, real quick here, the survey that we did last month brought you lead gen. You got Mitch. We want to know what you want next month. What's happening in your business that we could help you with? We will literally bring you an expert in that field. We've got 18 coaches in a variety of specialties. So please hit that QR code. It's a super quick little survey. It will tell me by the end of the day who the speaker needs to be on what topic, and we will bring you that topic. So let's do that real quick so we can stay on time. I mean, literally, lead gen was what came out of last month's survey, and here we brought you Mitch. You can see Mitch's information while you're taking the survey in the chat. Mitch is a super expert in this lead gen format. Reach out to him.
Yeah, even if you just need to be coached through the mindset of scarcity that says you can't just focus on one thing and make business, I'd be happy to walk you through that.
And I'll
'Cause I've
just add, you
discovered that be
guys,
focused.
our
Go for it.
recording from today will be shared out. So be looking for that in your email inboxes. If you're a Go agent, it will be posted on the Nova link, and then it will be also on our YouTube channel.
And then Mitch, if
Yeah.
you could advance one more slide, and if you would be interested in a discovery call, if there's anything on this call that you said, hey man, I could use some help, I could use a partner, I could use a mentor, that's what our coaching is. I mean, we will partner with you. I think, okay, there we are, a business discovery call. Hit that QR code, fill out a few pieces of information, and let us become a partner to you. We have no problem doing a free call to assess where your business is, where we suggest you go. Whether you choose to get into coaching or not, that doesn't matter. We just want to be able to help you when the time is right. Maybe hiring a coach will be the next step.
For
All
whatever
right.
it's worth, Fritz, you changed my life when we were coaching together, because you not only held me accountable to the promises I made myself, but you gave me clarity around you helped me figure out what really was important to me at that point. And for me at that point, becoming a coach and trainer was the most important thing. And so you helped me figure that out. And then you helped me once you were ready, we both realized that, gosh, after 2.5, 3 years, it was time for me to move on. And then you found me another great coach on the next level for me. So it's a progression, and it changed my world.
Yeah, well, you were a great student, so
Thank you.
the task was a bit easier. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate your participation. Go do something with these ideas. Start the processes that were described here, and let it apply in your world. Maybe one day you're doing a call like this, sharing what you've grown and learned from it all. We thank you. We appreciate you. We're here to serve you. Have a great finish to your Wednesday, and we're around if you need us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care, everyone.